Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Emmanuel. Now in this video, I'm going to show you how to create a custom multi-step form like this on Wix Studio. The first will be this with the multi-range slider, and the second style will be this with numbered steps. So let's get started. So before we begin, I just want to give a quick side note. You can also create a multi-step form by using the Wix contacts. All you have to do is click on add, go to contacts and form, and click on create new form. And this will add the form to your site. Let's say you can just drag and drop the elements that you want in your form. And come over here to the third option where it says pages, and click on add new page. You can also add more options and add as much pages as you need. Then click on save. And click on preview. And you have a multi-step form. Now this is just a way to use Wix contact form. And you have the multi-step form. Now this is just a way of doing it without coding. But that's not what I'm here to show you. So the first thing we do is to style the form. I'm going to change this background to blue, and then I'll come over here so you have this Wix logo. I'll click on it and go back to view and set the sizing preference to advanced, just so we can have a responsive layout. Change the padding, give it 30%. And this 3%. And then for the tablet and mobile screen, I'll change the left padding to 5% and the right padding to 5%. Okay, yeah, just remove this container to this footer. You don't really need it. Next, good. Next, I'll add a container to it. Then I'll stretch it out and change the background color to white. And maybe the corner to 5. And then I'll just duplicate this and change it to give us your feedback. And then I'll set the width to max content to retake the space of the text. So I'll duplicate it again and change. This time I'll change the text to feed back. Now I'll go over to the styles and add highlights of blue, then change the text color to white. And I'll stack them by pressing shift and clicking on it. Just put 20 px. Now to make it responsive, the text, I'll just come in where we have max and minimum. And for the minimum, just put 24 pixel. And do the same for this. For the minimum, 24 pixel. That once is on that screen, the size becomes 24 pixel. And next will be the progress bar. So now the next part is to add the progress bar. Now to do this, just click on add and go back to inputs and then scroll to where you have sliders. And I'll just be using this one. Yeah. So I'll just change the style, change the background color to this shade of blue. And remove the border color. Change this to 14. And then for the next part, we have to add the multi-state box. Now for the next step, we have to add a multi-state box. To do this, you just go to add element, come over here to layout tools, and you see the option multi-state boxes. Now to use this will require a custom code. So that's just something you should be informed about. Drag it over here, resize it. To make sure that everything is aligned, I'm going to be using advanced CSS grid on the container. Click here and click on apply advanced CSS grid. Now for this, I'll just make it 100%, that is the progress bar. And I'll do the same for the multi-state box. We just give the container a padding of 2%. And I'll stretch the multi-state box. This just allows you to change the different states. See right here we have box 3 and box 2. You can also add other boxes. Now what this multi-state box allows us to do is just to change different pieces of content at the same time. This is what we use to build the multi-step form. Like once I click on manage states, you can see there are two boxes, box 3, 2. Once I click on 2, see that the color changes. It's because that the state changes. You can also add new states or duplicate states. So just delete this. Just have one, and I'll style this one. Change the color to white. And then I'll go back to add elements and get the input. I'll style this by changing to 100%. I'll change the border to, and then I'll change the border color to gray and the background color. So just change the from this default Wix styles to this. Now I'll just duplicate it. So this first one will be for the full name. The next one will be for the email. Change this to email. Put email address. And then the phone number. And then I'll change this to phone. Just put phone. And I'll duplicate this and change it to step 1/4. This is just to indicate the current step that is on. This time I'll just set the width to max content. And now I'll just stack everything by pressing shift and clicking on the elements. And then we'll add our previous and next button. That's a button. Change the color to blue. Text. Just change it to Poppins, which is the font that we're using. I'll make all the corners to be rounded. And I'll duplicate this so you can have the previous button. This will be next step. And this will be previous step. Now I'm just changing the style of this previous step so it's easier to differentiate which is which. Move the background color. Change the text to blue. And the borders to 1. Yes. So now we have both the previous and next button. Stack it. And move them both to the end. Maybe 200. Maybe that's too much. I'll stack it with this current one. And now for the item spacing, I'll just give each of them item spacing of 20 px. Now that we're done with design, the next step would be to start coding. And before that, I'll just add this animation on the form that each time it appears to have an entrance animation. First, you just click on the multi-state box. go over here to animation and effects. Then on entrance, this is when the form comes into view. Just click add and maybe add this, this slide animation. I'll just adjust the animation to make sure it comes from the left. Let me see left, or maybe let me change it to right. And reduce the timing to 1 second and click on preview. Okay, so now that that's done, come over here to where you have this code and click on start coding. This will enable us to add code to the multi-step form. Now we have dev mode activated, so we can begin writing the code for the multi-step form. So I'll just cancel all of this. I just comments, don't really need them, and then I'll begin the first function. First thing is to give each of these buttons, the next and the previous buttons, their ID. This is just so we can use them in the code. So I'll just click on the button. And now I'm going to change the name to next button hyphen form 2. And this will allow us to change to the next state. And also here on the multi-state box, I'll click on manage states and click on duplicate states. Since it's four forms I also have, I'll just duplicate it 4 times. 1, 2. Now you have 4 forms. So now also you have to change the name of these states. I'll edit the ID. I'll make this one form 1, and this the second one I'll change it to form 2 and form 3, form 4, and then we're done. Then also try and just change the details of each form. Change this to the second form. I'll change it to step 2 out of 4. Then I'll change this one to where's the country. So change this one. This will be the form 3. Change it to 3 out of 4. And I'll change this to let's put message. I just increase the height a little bit. And for the final step 4, since this will be the end, I'll just add an image to show that yes, the form has been submitted successfully. I'll delete this. Change this to step 4 out of 4. I'll just add the text that the form has been submitted. and then I'll change this text to form submitted successfully. Now that that's done, just make some few changes to the form. Now since this is step 4, I'm going to need this next and previous button. Let me just leave the previous button, just leave the next button. Just align it to the left. And go to form 1 and remove this previous button. Only have next step. Okay, now that that's done, we go to the coding part. Now I'll begin by naming each of the next step buttons in the form. So since we're already giving this one a name of next button form 1, we'll go to the next form, which is form 2. I'll come over here and change this to next button hyphen form 3. This is because once we click on this button to go to the form 3, or for the previous button, I'll give it a name of previous button with previous button hyphen form 1. So that once you click on this button, it goes back to the first form. I'll do the same for the next, for form 3. First one will be previous step button. Previous button hyphen form 2. So for the next button, to be next button hyphen form 4. Now for the last one, which will be form 4, since there's only one previous button, just rename it to previous button hyphen form 3. And then we can begin the coding part. The first thing to do will be to declare, to assign the variable of the multi-step form. To do this, I'll just write const multi-step form. Use the dollar sign, brackets, or the multi-state box. This is just a way to assign. Now this is just a way of assigning this multi-state box to this variable or constant of. Now to begin the multi-state functions of the next buttons, I'll start with the first button. I'll use the dollar symbol and W to identify the button. We start with the first one, which is next button form 2, and then use the on-click function. So this is the on-click function. This will activate whenever the button is clicked. Just use multi-step form dot change state, and to change it to form 2. This is the name of the form that we give it for the multi-state box. Now once this button is clicked, to change to form 2. You can just click on preview to see the result. Once I click on it, you can see that it changes to step 2 of the form. I'll also do the same for the rest of them. Let's come over here, copy and paste this, and change this from form 2 to 3. And for the change state to go to the form 3. Do the same for this. This time to be used to form 4. And 4. Click on preview. And I click on next step. Goes to the next form. Click on next step and go to the next one. Finally, it comes to the last form. So the next part now is for the previous buttons. Now you just have to do the same thing. Just comment. can paste this code. This time change it to previous button, and this will be form 1. Once this previous button is clicked, to change the state back to form 1. I'll do it for the other part. It should be form 2. To change to form 2. Might also change for the last one form 3. And to change state to the form 3. And once I click on preview, see that everything should be working. I click on next step, it changes to the next one, next, and on previous, it goes back, and it goes back to the previous step. Now I made a mistake with the form animation. Just to put it on the container, not the multi-state box. So I'll just fix that quickly. Put container, I'll come over here to animation and effects, and click on the slide the animation. I'll just adjust it and put form right. Okay. I'll do the same for the rest of them. So of it being on the multi-state box, it should be on the container itself of the form. Now since we already assigned this progress bar, first thing will be setting it so you can keep moving with the next buttons and previous button. And since they are 4, the forms are 4, and the target value is 100, we have to do is divide 100 by 4, which will give us 25. So we just need to keep incrementing that value as the form goes forward. First thing I'll do is just to set it up, the value to be 25. Now once the next button is clicked, which will be form 2, I'll change it so that it adds another 25 to it. So 25 plus 25 is 50. Now for the next button, which is 3, add another 25, which will make this 75. Now for the last one, which is form 4, we just add it so that it becomes 100, like 75 plus 25. And once I click on preview, let's test it. See the form the progress bar is already having 5% here. So I click next, and see it increases. Next, and now on the last one it completes. So the next step will be for the previous step button. Now for the previous step, all we just have to do is the opposites of the math. So each time it comes to form 1, percentage will be 25. And each time it's clicked on form 2, percentage to be 50, and on form 3 it should be 75. It's just by like reducing them each time by 25. Once I preview it again, and so once I click next, progress bar is moving with it. And previous step, you can see that it's moving to the same direction. So that's the first style of a multi-step form you can do using Wix Studio. Now for the second style, which will be the numbered step, I'll show you how to do that. You have to do is just come over to pages and duplicate this. Just rename it to form 2. And then I'll begin by adding styling of the number steps. Just copy this button and paste it here. Then I rename it from next step to just 1. Let's resize it here to 32 and 32, maybe 35 or better. Then for this progress bar, you just have to reduce the width. Reduce the width to 80 px. On mobile, that is not too long. I'll just reduce it to 65. I'll remove the border of the progress bar. Also the corners. To 0. Duplicate this. Just give. Now duplicate this and change this to 2. Also duplicate the progress bar and just keep them aligned. Now change this to 3. Now for the last one, now change this to 4. And now we have to just stack each and every one of them together. And start stacking them. Just edit it for the item spacing. It should be 0. For them to be vertically aligned. Now place this in the center. The next part is now giving each of these buttons their own name. Now name this, let's say, form form button hyphen 1, and this will be form button hyphen 2, and this will be form button hyphen 3. Maybe for the last one, form button hyphen 4. And for the progress bar, that's progress bar hyphen form 2. This just indicates the progress of the number steps. Then this one will be progress bar hyphen form 3. And the last one will be progress bar hyphen form 4. And now we go into the coding part. Now for the code, all we just have to do is repose this original code. Now I have to declare the values, that is, of the progress bar. I'll change this to progress bar 1. This will be progress bar form 2. And I'll do the same for the rest of them. Progress bar 3. And 4. Now for the next buttons, we have to change the logic here a bit. So now this is going to be progress bar 2, which will be this bar here. Instead of it being 50, since they are just divided, we'll just change it to 100. And once form 2 is clicked, this will just slide here to make it 100%. And for the other one, we'll change this to progress bar 3. Change the value to 100. We'll do the same for 4. Yeah, I'll do the same for 4. For the rest of them, the previous button, you just have to change it a bit as the progress as. Now for the previous button, going back to form 1, change this to form 2, since it's coming back to the beginning. All the other progress bar will just be 0. So progress bar 3, the value will be 0. Progress bar 4, the value will be 0, since all of them are coming back to the starting point. And for form 2, let's change this to equals to 100, and for the rest of them, it will still be 0. So I'll just change it to 0. And for 3, this time and for 300, the progress bar 2 will be 100, and progress bar 3 also will be 100. This is just for the previous function, and so on. Let's test it now. Click on preview. Click on preview. Once I click on next step, I can see that this one goes from 0 to 100. Click on next, also increases, next, and it also increases. The same thing with the previous button. Previous, that's one. So, and that's how you can create a custom multi-step form on Wix Studio using custom code. Now, I understand that maybe the coding is a little bit too complex for you. That's why I'll leave the link in the description below so you can view the full code and customize it to your liking or use it in a project of your own. So that's it for the video. Thank you once again for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.